Hey everybody, it's Chris from Beer Bearings. It's Friday, time for another beer of the week, and this week I am going to once again satisfy somebody's request to talk about a beer specifically that they asked for. I asked a few weeks ago if there were styles or specific beers that people wanted me to take a look at, and Marie Bologna said she wanted to learn more about barley wine. So I talked about Hypnic Jerk English style barley wine from Gnarly Barley back in January. And I will, if possible, put that in the comments below the video so you can go back and find that one easily. That's a whole different kind of beer from the one I'm going to talk about today. The one I'm going to talk about today is Bigfoot, which is an American barley wine from Sierra Nevada. It is actually the kind of the granddaddy of American barley wines, at least as far as the craft beer movement is concerned. It's been made every year since 1983, and this is the 2021 version, just packaged back in October. So fairly new as barley wines go. We talked about this before, but certainly with higher gravity, higher alcohol beers like this, excuse me, you can cellar those for a number of months, even years, and go back and taste them side by side. You can do vertical tastings of several years. I've got another bottle of this I'll probably hang on to for at least a year and put it up against the 2022 version and see how that goes. But for right now, let's get this open and take a look at it and taste it. So again, Sierra Nevada. It's got the cool Bigfoot bottle cap or crown. And they've been making this every year since 1983, so it's almost 40 years old, 38 years old. Not this bottle. It is a beautiful dark colored beer, caramelized malts in this. So unlike Hypnic Jerk, which is an English barley wine and uses Fuggle hops, this one uses Centennial, Cascade, and Chinook. Very much more the kind of hops that you're used to finding in American craft beers. American beers in general tend to be just bigger, bolder in every way than their English counterparts, although very much in the same tradition and just a more fully expressed, version of those old styles. This is an old brewery. It's been around a long time, and it would have been part of the early craft beer movement. And you can see as I'm kind of rotating that in the glass, that head is really kicking up there. It's a nice, beautiful tan head. It's a beautiful kind of ruby color almost. You should still be able to find this stuff in stores if you want to do that. Let's check the aroma and taste it. That is an American ale all the way. You're definitely getting that big hit of American hops. Some caramel notes behind that. A little bit of resin. Yeah, just really a very complicated aroma. You can definitely get some of the malt notes too. Caramelized malts in this, which gives it the color and also gives it kind of a roasty, toasty character, probably. Let's find out. Yeah, definitely American in character. It's got a nice little bitter hit right on the back end. All those American hops are in that flavor. So again, a little bit of pine, a little bit of resin, more resin than pine maybe. A little bit of background hint of tropical as well, which is not out of place in this beer. And just a delicious, very complex tasting experience. So very much unlike something like a very simple straight up lager or something like that. So let's talk about barley wines for a minute. So Marie, you wanted to hear more about the style. Here it comes. So a barley wine is typically the strongest ale that a brewery makes. The style came along basically out of sort of the English strong ale tradition. And actually the term barley wine was first used by the Bass Company, which I talk about back in that January video, so I won't go deep into that this time. But it was first used by the Bass Brewery in England, and it was a marketing thing. And in fact, it was apparently used by advertisers and people marketing the beer other than the company itself, and then the company adopted it and went on from there. American craft brewers have tended to pick up on the old English styles, and certainly I started craft brewing or home brewing, I should say, back in 1992, 93, and everything that I made was very much in the English tradition, partly because I had visited England and I loved the beer, but also because that was kind of what was available and sort of what had made the transition across the Atlantic at that time. We were kind of blissfully unaware in America of all of the other traditions around the globe with brewing as well. So we took that English tradition and kind of expanded on it. And that's what this is. This is a strong ale, 9.6% alcohol by volume. So certainly 12-ounce bottle, you can handle 12 ounces of this probably without too many ill effects, but you might want to share it with a friend. And I'm sitting here kind of rotating it in this tulip because as this beer warms, and really as any high alcohol malty beer warms, the flavors will change a little bit. Any beer will do that, but the more complicated the beer, the more fermentable material and so on in there, the more it will change. So let's see if we get anything different. So definitely, swirling it around like this, some of the carbonation has gone out of it, which is kind of nice. So some of that head's blown off, and it's a little bit smoother mouthfeel now. Still really bitter, in a good way, bitter finish, and that's a Sierra Nevada trademark. That is what they do. But such a nice beer. And again, those kind of caramel roasty notes come out for me a little bit more right now than they did at first as well. So if you put this one aside, as I'm going to do for a year or so, and again, try it later on next year, maybe alongside the 2022 version and see what that's like, I highly suggest that. This may still be in stores here, I don't know. I can tell you that Hypnic Jerk by Gnarly Barley is still around. It's still at the brewery up there. I don't think it's available in distribution, so you'll have to get yourself to Hammond to pick that up, but it's well worth the trip, trust me. This is really an example of an American brewery way back in 1983 picking up on an English style and making it theirs by using American hops, more bitterness, probably a little more alcohol than you would find in an English barley wine, and turning up all the dials, if you will. I always think of American craft beer as turning up the dials on traditional styles in a lot of ways, whether it comes to how much fruit is added or any of that. So definitely a good sipper any time of year, to be honest. I know these beers are normally associated with the winter months or the colder months, but I think that honestly that's just crazy. I mean, if you like stouts, drink a stout in July. It's fine. There are no police. So I love this style. I love the American styles and the English ones. And I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video today. If you are watching me on Facebook, please invite your friends to come on in and join the group and join the discussion. Tell me what's in your glass. Tell me what beers you'd like me to talk about coming up, and maybe I'll do another post on that coming up soon. If you're watching me on YouTube, I would love it if you would like and subscribe, and maybe even click that bell so you can be notified when future videos pop up. Either way, whatever you do, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your weekend. Cheers to better beer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.